Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govind Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudev ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannathas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shard Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Surup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अविश्व विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भजन-rahasya की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्रीसिद्धान्त सरस्वती विदितो गौरीय गुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोरसङ्कीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलो दरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवनिमान् कृष्णप्रेमसुधाब्धिकाहन सुखं प्रादात् प्रभुं तं भजे। वन्दे भक्तिविनोदं श्रीगौरशक्तिस्वरूपकं भक्तिशास्त्रज्ञसम्राजं राधारससुधानिधिं नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुम् स्मर गौरगदाधरकेलिकलं भव गौरगदाधरपक्षचर शृणुगौरगदाधरचारुकथं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुम् तवैवास्मि तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय देवि त्वं nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptascha kamadittaranga madhye kripamai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Saruparaya Sangha Harsha Shesha Ghoshanam Shikshanashtakakya Krishna Kirtanaika Poshanam Prema Nama Matra Vishwa Jivanaika Sambharam Prema Dhama Devam Eva Naumi Gaura Sundaram Premur Bhavita Harsheryo Dvega Danyarti Mishritam Lapitangurachandrasya bhagyavadbhirnishevyate. Prabhur Shikshastak Shlok Jai Pore Shune. Krishne Prem Bhakti Tar Bare Dine Dine. Shikshashtaka Chinta Koro Smarana Kirtan. Krame Ashtakala Seva Habe Uddipan. Sakala anartha jabe pabe premadan chaturvarga phalgu pray habe adarshan. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Indri Harivu, and Bhavatarani Mataji. And I see Vidyalala Sadidi is there, and I don't know who else is there. Um, yeah. Anyways, if you write a comment, I'll see your name, Dandavat Pranams. Also, pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, Revati Didi, Manjari Didi, and everybody else. Haribol. So we are continuing after what was it? I think 5 days or 6 day gap. Now we're finally continuing on with Bhajana-rahasya again. Uh, let's see, what are we reading? Yeah, so we are reading the Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. This is, let's just, I'll open up the PD Word doc. There it is. So Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. Prata Kaliya Bhajan. This is anartha nivritti in sadhu sangha. The first 6 dandas of the morning, approximately 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. I actually forgot where we left off. But anyhow, it's good to always get a recap. So let's just read until I should have looked beforehand. Anyways, okay. So the second verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka. There is no consideration of proper or improper time in regard to chanting the Lord's names, which are fully endowed with all potencies. This is described in the second verse of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka. O Bhagavan, you have manifested, akari means you have manifested, you have made bahuda, many, countless nam names. And tatra, there in those names, arpita, you have infused those names with nija sarva shakti, with all of your own potency. Nija shakti, sarva, all your nija shaktis, all your own potencies. And not only that, not only have you given your innumerable names which are which are infused with all of your own shakti, but smarane, you've made it so easy. Also, you've given the topmost thing possible. You've given yourself, and you've made it so easy. Smarane, and remembering these names, na niyamita. There's no restrictions, no rules regarding kala, regarding a time. the time and situation and any circumstance, any time, these names can be chanted. Etadrishi tava kripa Bhagavan. Etadrishi, such tava kripa is your mercy, Bhagavan, O Bhagavan. But my durdaivam, my misfortune, idrisham, is such that iha, here in these names, or here in chanting these names, ajani nanuragha. I have na anurag, no anurag. No anurag has ajani, was born, was awakened, was manifested within me for these names. Talk about misfortune. Get the topmost thing and you get it so easily, and even then you neglect it. There's no attachment for it. It's just what misfortune. Okay, so then this verse, we'll go over this afterwards. We're going to recite these verses here from Chaitanya Charitamrita at the end of our program. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives verses which explain each one of these parts. Nam Namakari Bahudanya Sarva Shaktis, 4 verses. One verse for this section about Krishna manifesting many names. Another verse about Krishna infusing all of his Shaktis in those names. And another verse about how there's no rules and regulations in remembering those regarding times and remembering those names. And then he gives another verse explaining Duradaivam. What is our misfortune? These anarthas. So those are the 4 verses he gives right here. This one, Agadamana Yashoda. Anyways, we're not going to go through them because we went through these 4 verses many times. Okay, we can go through this one though. So what is our, because the whole chapter is pretty much based on like, going through this 5th verse. Like this 5th verse is like what sparks the topic of the rest of the chapter. So what is the characteristics of misfortune are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So those persons who refrain from the hearing and chanting of your glories, their indriya, their senses are vimukh, are turned away from hearing and chanting of your glories, about bhavata prasangat, that means topics about you, narrations about you. Prasangat means narrations about bhavata, you, which destroy all misfortune, which sarva, all ashubha, misfortune, upashamanat, from which it's destroyed. All ashubha is destroyed. So those people whose senses are turned away from hearing topics of you which destroy all inauspiciousness, and instead they engage in inauspicious activities. Akushalani means inauspicious, and kurvanti, they engage in inauspicious activities, being obsessed with a desire for a fraction of a particle. That's a fraction, a lava of a lesha, a fraction of a particle of calm sukh, of sense enjoyment, material, like calm, this sensual happiness. Why? Because so these people are certainly dina. These people are wretched. They're certainly wretched, for fate has stolen away their intelligence. For daivena, that means by fate, hata dhiyo, their intelligence has been hata, destroyed or stolen away. It didn't mention lobhabhibhuta manaso. Manasa means their hearts are abhibhuta, are overwhelmed with low, with greed. Does it have that in the translation? No, it doesn't. Anyhow, yeah, that's what that means. Lobha abhibhuta manaso. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur turns this verse into a personal prayer. It says, Tomara prasanga sarva ashubha karo e karva durdaiva prabhave moraman Kamasu kaleshayashe, lobha akushalayase, se prashange na koilo jatana. Okay, so Tomar prasanga, narrations about you. Sarva shubha koroye karva. These narrations about you, they karva koroye, they destroy sarva ashubha, everything inauspicious. But by the influence, prabhave means by the influence of Duradaiva, of my misfortune, morman, my mind, kam suklesh ashe, in hopes of just getting in hopes of getting just a fraction of kam suk, of sensual happiness, this greed, I akushala ayase. I exert myself. Ayase means with exertion, with great effort. Akushala, I engage in this inauspicious acts. And so I exert myself so hard out of greed in hopes to attain just a fraction of the sensual happiness. But She Prashange, but for these narrations about you, which destroy everything inauspicious, Na koilo jatana. I haven't made any endeavor. I have no care, and I haven't made any endeavor for these narrations. Following the instructions and yeah, like that. Okay, so now we know what is our misfortune. It's very clear now, right? So what is their misfortune? And so how did this happen? How did I become why don't I have any why am I not making any endeavors for when I hear Hari Katha and I hear these instructions of Gurudev and like that, why am I not making any endeavors? Why is this what is it? She Prashange na koilo jatana. Why am I in this unfortunate, inauspicious situation? So this verse explains now in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 7. So Vyasadeva, Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranihite Male Apashyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Cha Tad Apashayam. So Vyasadeva, through the process of Bhakti Yogena, Manasi, in his mind, Samyak, fully Pranihite, fully fixing his mind through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, his mind with purity, his mind is now amal, is pure. Then apashat, through that practice of Bhakti Yoga, apashat, he had darshan, he beheld Purusham Purnam, the complete supreme person, the absolute truth. Purna Brahma, Purusham. And cha means and, he saw Maya, who is tad apashrayam, who is sheltered by him, but at a distance, not connected. And then he also saw the jivas, who were samohito, who were bewildered by yaya, by that maya. How are they bewildered? Well, manute, they considered that atmanam, that myself, is trigunatmakam, is made up of the three material modes. It's a material byproduct of the modes of nature. Even though, api means even though, para, the jiva is superior to this inert, dull matter, this material nature. And so due to this anartha, due to this misfortune, anartha, that which is no fortune, anartha. Due to that anartha, that misfortune, tat kritam chavipadyate, then he engages in, actually, I don't know Sanskrit. Anyways, whatever. And then he engages in the activities. Tat kritam. The activities which are based on that. That's his anartha. Something like that. I don't know. So, in order to destroy these anarthas, anartha pashamad shakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje. If the jivas engage in Shakshad Bhakti Yoga and direct Bhakti Yoga to Adhokshaj, to Vishnu, who's completely beyond these material modes, is completely transcendental, then all these anarthas will be destroyed. Anartha upashamam. But lokasya ajanato. But the people don't know this. Ajanato, they don't know the lokasya, the people. So Vidvansh, the greatly learned Vyasadeva, therefore, Chakre, he compiled this Sattvata Sanghitam. Oh, and I read a whole thing about Sattvata Sanghitam yesterday. Jai? One second. There's somebody at the door. Could you just, one second, there's somebody at the door. I need to get it. There's somebody at the door. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we know what the Durdaibam is, what our misfortune is, and now and we see how Vyasadeva, he had, what does Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur say? Krishna, Krishna Maya, Jiva, Tina Tattva. So the three tattvas are Krishna's illusory potency, Maya, and the Jiva. Tin tattva. These are the three tattvas. Maya mohe maya baddha jiver anartha. And the jivas, they are maya mohe, they bewildered by maya and bound by maya. This is the jiva's anarthas. So this chit kana jiver, Krishna bhakti yoga bole. So by the strength of bhakti yoga, of the jivas who are conscious particles of Krishna, anartha vinashta hoy. So through that bhakti yoga to Krishna, by the strength of that, bale, by the strength of that, anartha vinashta hoy, all anarthas are destroyed. And Krishna prem phale. And all anarthas are destroyed, and Krishna prem fructifies. Phale means fructifies. Phal, the word fruit, is a verb also. So e tattva nam samadhite prailo vyas. So this tattva, Vyas attains by engaging in nam samadhi and deep meditation on the name. Bhagavate bhakti yoga korilo prakash. And then he revealed bhakti yoga within the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so we know what the Durdaiva misfortune is, and now we see how Vyasadeva gave us the means to destroy this misfortune that we have through Bhakti Yoga and Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, the next, okay, so now we know the method. Okay, it's all in Srimad Bhagavatam. He gave us Srimad Bhagavatam so that we can destroy these anarthas, this misfortune. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda, okay, but what are these anarthas? We need to know very clearly what are exactly this misfortune, anartha, and these useless, have no value also. Anartha also means that has no value. They're only impediments. They only block us from attaining this bhakti yoga. So then he tells that the anarthas are four kinds. There's illusion about one's real identity, hankering for that which is temporary, offenses, and weakness of heart. And each one of these four anarthas are further divided into four. But it's getting late. Let's just skip through this because we already went through this a few times. And now, okay, so now we're very clear on what are 16 different types of anarthas. Very clear what we need to get rid of. And now gives the verse, what is like the main way for getting rid of anarthas? What is the standard way of getting rid of all anarthas is Nam Sankirtan. So it gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the 14th verse from the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. apana sangsritim ghoram yannama vivasho grinan tata sadyo vimuchyeta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. I think these first three verses, like these, after explaining the all that, that Vyasadeva gave us Srimad Bhagavatam so that we can engage in bhakti yoga to destroy all these anarthas. So after that, he gives like three just very general verses, which is like, okay, these are the main things for getting rid of anarthas. Nam Sankirtan, then this verse here, Bhayam Dvitīya, so taking shelter of Sri Guru. And then the third one is engaging in bhakti. Nam Kirtan, taking shelter of Guru, engaging in bhakti. These are like the standard ways for getting rid of anarthas. And then he'll give this verse from the Chatushloki, fourth verse of the Chatushloki of Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains Anvay and Vyatirek. Just to like really simplify it, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like this is more like a philosophical concept, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Bengali here, he makes it very practical. He like turns this philosophical concept into like, so he says there's Anvay, there are things that are connected to Bhagavan, direct things. So that refers to that which is favorable. It's directly connected to Bhagavan. And then there's Vyatirek, that which is indirect, which is separate from Bhagavan, which is the unfavorable things that which we must not do. So the do's and don'ts, basically. And then all the rest of the verses following this now, there are many do's and don'ts. Vacho Vegam, and then all these verses, Atyahara Prayasascha. Oh, sorry, is somebody trying to say something? Haribo? I think I accidentally got unmuted. Okay. Yeah. And so then, yeah, all the things that we should do and we shouldn't do. And then for mana shiksha and so on. So that's how this is organized. Okay. So let's go back. The three main things for nullifying anarthas. First, Nam Sankirtan. So apana sangsritam ghoram yan nama vivasho granan tata sadyo vimuccheta yar viveti swayam bhayam. Okay, I don't know Sanskrit, but I'm going to try my best right now. I think apana sangsritam ghoram yan nama vivasho granan tata sadyo vimuccheta. Okay, so apana, I'm not explaining it grammatically correctly. This is how I'm understanding it. So apana means the jivas having fallen. Apana means having fallen. Sangsritim ghoram, into this ghastly. Ghor means ghastly. Sangsritim, this ghastly material existence. Sangsar. Yan nama vivasho granan. And that person who granan means to take, or to chant. Vivasho, being completely helpless. Vivash, completely helpless. Yannam, whose name is taken with complete helplessness. Then tata. Then thereafter, sadyo vimuccheta. Sadyo means very quickly, instantly. Vimuccheta, that person is liberated. That name, Yannam, which bibheti swayam bhayam, which fear itself, fear personified, swayam, himself, fear himself, bibheti, is afraid of. Fear himself is afraid of the name. What to speak of us? So there's nothing more powerful for destroying fear than the name, which fear himself even fears. And if we just take it in this mood of helplessness, this mood of surrender, we just chant the name. Grinan means to chant the name. Then sadhya vimuchita, then very instantly, we'll be liberated. E ghor sangsar pori Krishna naam loy sadhya mukta hoy ar bhoy pai bhoy. E ghor sangsare pori, having fallen into this ghastly material existence, Krishna naam loy, that person who chants Krishna's name, sadhya mukta hoy, he is sadhya, instantly mukta hoy, he is liberated. Ar bhai bhoy pai bhoy, and that name which fear itself fears. It's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, now this verse is all about taking, well, it's how we've gotten in this situation, or like, and how we get out of it by taking shelter of Sri Guru and serving Krishna one pointedly. So let's see. There's a famous verse my Guru Dev would. They made a whole book on this verse, of classes that my Guru Dev gave in Australia. It's called Guru Deva Tatma. This the last two words of this verse, Guru Deva Tatma. We see Guru Dev as Devata and as our Atma, as our most worshipful deity, and as our very intimate self, becoming one in heart with Guru, right? It's my, I don't know actually. Let's see. Okay, so Bhayam Dvitīya Abhiniveshata Syad. So Bhayam, fear arises. I think Syat means it arise. I don't know. I think so. Bhayam Syat. So fear arises when Abhiniveshata, when one becomes absorbed in Dvitiya, in the second, the other thing, that which is not related to Bhagavan. So this material existence, and that which is unrelated to Bhagavan, Abhinivesh. It's Dvitiya Abhinivesh is like the same like Anyabhilash. Oh no. Abhinivesh means absorption, and Dvitiya. Yeah, and some other thing other than Krishna. And Ishad Apetasya. And due to Apetasya means having turned away from Isha, from the Lord, Viparya yo smriti. One's smriti, one's what do you say? One's mind becomes viparya, becomes averse to that Bhagavan. Why? Tan Maya, by the influence of Maya, because of Maya, due to Maya. So Buddha, those who are intelligent, those who are Buddha, abhajit tam, they worship tam, that Isha, that Lord, the Supreme Lord, through bhaktya, through bhakti. They abhajit tam, they worship him, bhaktya, through bhakti, and aikya, which is one pointed, exclusively fixed on Krishna. Bhakti, which is exclusively fixed on Isha. Oh, the word Isha comes twice in this verse, I just noticed. Yeah. So, so they do that by worshiping Tang, the Supreme Lord, through Bhaktya Aika Isham. That is one point, that bhakti which is one pointed towards Isha. And Guru Deva Tatma. How do you do this? You see Sri Guru as being one's worshipable deity, one's Devata, and one's Atma, one's very self, the most intimate friend of myself, my one's very self. What does it say in here? Right? Srila Gurudev would say, I'm closer to you than the air you breathe. It's like my very self. There's nobody more close to me. It's like my very self. Let's see. So let's read the translation here. The living entity who is averse to Sri Bhagavan forgets his own constitutional nature because of his association with Maya. Due to this forgetfulness, he becomes absorbed in the conception that he is the material body and thus thinks, I'm a demigod, I'm a human being. In this state of bodily identification, he fears old age, disease, and so forth. Therefore, those who know the truth should consider their own guru as Ishwar, it says Devata, the Supreme. In other words, they should see him as their master, who is non-different from Bhagavan and who is very dear to him. Through exclusive devotion, they should perform one-pointed worship of that Ishwar, their guru. That's an interesting translation. Anyways, I need to understand this a bit better also to fully, but yeah, we'll go over this again. Let's see how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains it. He says, Krishna chari jiva koilo anyabhinivesh. Anyabhinivesh and Dvitīya-bhinivesh is the same thing. Anya or Dvitiya, second thing or other thing. So Krishna chari, the jiva having abandoned Krishna, Koilo abhinivesh. He became absorbed. Abhinivesh means absorbed in anya, in things unrelated to Krishna. Tai, therefore, tar viparyaya smriti, his backwards mistaken uh, intelligence, remembrance, therefore, that's why he's completely forgotten Krishna. Viparya smriti. I think that's what it means actually, forgotten. Yeah, yeah. He's forgotten Krishna. His remembrance is uh yeah, I don't know how you say viparya. Viparya buddhi. Remember we came across that word. I just want to look it up again though. I'm looking at the Bengali dictionary, but oops. Vipar. There it is. So opposition, contrary, inversion, reverse. Reverse remembrance. So forgetfulness. Confusion. Confusion. Devastation. His remembrance is devastated. He's completely confused. Yeah, anyhow. Okay, so Tai, therefore, the jiva is confused and has forgotten his Krishna. And Klesh, and therefore he's suffering. So, Sarguru Ashray Koriya, having taken shelter, Ashray Koriya means having taken shelter of a Sarguru, Krishna Kripa Ashe, and when one hopes, when one aspires for Krishna's mercy, then Ananya Bhajana Kore, one engages in Ananya Bhajan, that means exclusive one-pointed bhajan. It's not going in any other direction, Ananya. It's just one-pointed. And Jai Krishna Pashe, and then one goes to Krishna. We already went through this, right? Did we already go through this verse? Maybe we didn't. I'm just going to read the Bhajana-rahasya in case we didn't. No, we did. I remember reading this. When the living entities are averse to the Supreme Lord, they become absorbed in Maya and thus become materially conditioned. Maya Devi, through her two functions of avaranatmika, that's her covering potency, she covers the jiva with their false ego and all these different things, mind, intelligence, false ego, and vikshepatmika, and also the material body. She covers them with material, all those different things. And then she vikshepatmika. She throws them. Vikshepa means she throws them into this material world. She makes the living entities wander in the prison-like material existence, suffering its torment by thinking they are the experiencers of happiness and distress. A person who is resolute takes shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide guru and is thus able to cross over this material existence. By accepting the guidance of a guru who has realized Sri Bhagavan and by being absorbed in intimate service, Vishramba Seva to him, one attains the mercy of the Supreme Lord and material identification goes far away. One will attain knowledge of one's own Surup, Bhagavan Surup, and the Surup of the illusory energy by understanding the spiritual master to be near and dear like his own soul and by serving him. Okay, that's more how I was understanding Guru Deva Tatma. For some reason, it didn't have that in the translation. But being near and dear like his own soul. Guru Deva, no, Guru, and seeing him as a Devata, as my Lord, as like my very Lord, and Atma, like my very own soul, that intimate. Okay, sorry. By the Guru's mercy, the living entity will ultimately be engaged in eternal service and Sri Bhagavan's abode. Okay, so we have Nam Sankirtan, taking shelter of Guru and worshipping Krishna exclusively. And now the next verse is the characteristics of Bhakti Yoga are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the three very standard ways. Or standard isn't the right. Yeah, anyways, I'll just say standard. These are the three main ways for getting rid of anarthas: engaging in Nam Kirtan, taking shelter of Guru, and now engaging in Bhakti Yoga. And through this Bhakti Yoga, Gyan and Vairagya automatically happen as a byproduct. You don't ever need to endeavor separately to attain knowledge and renunciation, to become renounced. All these things, if you endeavor towards Gyan and Vairagya, towards knowledge and renunciation on their own, you're stupid because just through bhakti it happens very easily and automatically. Whereas if you pursue jnana and vairagya independently of bhakti, you're just gonna. We went through that verse in the first chapter of Bhajana-rahasya, right? You'll just be a lot of hard labor with no fruit. Yatha tushava, what is it? Tushava ghatinam. Okay, so let's go through this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, verses 12 and 7. Tatshraddhana munayo jnana vairagya yuktaya pashantyatmani chatmanam bhaktya shrutta grihitaya vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yoga prayojita janayatyashu vairagyam jnanam cha yad ahaitukam. Okay, I don't know Sanskrit, so I'm not gonna. First, let's read the translation, then we'll see if we can figure out what it means. Um, After hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, a faithful person automatically acquires bhakti endowed with knowledge and renunciation. After hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Shruta Grihitaya. I think that's Shruta means hearing, right? So having an Grihita. So through hearing what? Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Through hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, a faithful person automatically acquires bhakti. A Shraddhadhana. The munis, the munis who are Shraddha, who have Shraddha, they acquire bhakti. Yeah, they acquire bhakti. Vasudevi Bhagavati. No. Bhak huh. I don't think this is a very literal translation. Anyways, let's see. They acquire bhakti. After hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, a faithful person automatically acquires bhakti endowed with knowledge and renunciation. By such bhakti, that's bhaktya, by such bhakti, he apprehends the Supreme Lord's Swarup in his heart. And he realizes his relationship with him. Thereupon, he enters service to the Lord. When the relationship between the Lord and the living entity is established, Bhakti Yoga for Bhagavan, Sri Vasudeva, appears. And very quickly, Ashu means very quickly. Janayati, it takes birth, or it happens. It appears. Ashu, very quickly. This vairagyam and jnanam. Without any other cause, ahaitukam. It happens without any other cause. Just through this bhakti. You don't need anything else. Anyways, I want to try to understand the Sanskrit a bit better though. Tat Shraddha, the munis who have this Shraddha and they're endowed with this Gyan and Vairagya, Pashanti, they see the at the Atmani, the soul of all souls, or the soul of one's own soul, the very one, something like that. Bhaktya Shuddha Grihitaya, through hearing, through the process of hearing and through bhakti, something like that. And then Vasudevi Bhagavati. So then, by engaging prayojita, by engaging in bhakti yoga to Vasudeva Bhagavati, to the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, then it produces ashu very quickly, or something like that. Jnana Vairagyam, this Vairagya and Gyan, ahaitukam, without any other cause, just through bhakti. Then this Gyan and Vairagya is Janayati ashu, very quickly manifests, or something like that. That's how I'm understanding this. But yeah, I need to look through. Maybe I'll look through the word for word later and try to figure it out. Let's see how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains it. He says, Shraddha kori nam bhaje sadhu kripa paya itare viraga nitya swarup pujiya. Okay. So by worshiping the name Nam Bhaje, worshiping so engaging in nam bhajan shraddha koriya with faith, fully, sadhu kripapaya, one attains the mercy of the sadhus. Then itare virag, then towards those things which are itare. Itar means which are not related to Krishna, one feels virag, complete detachment. They have no rag, complete detachment for anything not related, that are itar. And nitya surup pujiya, and having understood, and they've understood their nitya surup, their eternal surup. Ihake boli, so this is called bhakti yoga, which is anuttama. It is unparalleled. Bhakti yoga, through this bhakti yoga, sarva siddhi, all perfection is attained. Yadi, if dhare kram, if it is performed in sequence. You're not jumping, but you're just following the process from the beginning. And so, we have to begin from the beginning. Dhare kram. So this bhakti will give all perfection if it is followed, followed sequentially. We start from, and so now after this, okay, what time is it? Okay, still have 10 minutes. Okay, so now let's read the vritti, the commentary of my Srila Gurudev. Sadhan of the non-dual absolute truth, Advai Gyan Paratattva, is of three kinds. There's three kinds of sadhan, or gaining knowledge of the non-dual absolute truth. There's Gyan, there's Yoga, and there's Bhakti. The Gyanis realize Bhagavan as Brahma on the strength of their cultivation of knowledge. They see Tat Padartha Bhagavan within their souls, their Atmas. They see their own souls in Ishwar. And they also see Tang Padartha, all living entities, in him. Okay, so that's the Gyanis. Now the yogis, they realize the non-dual object as Paramatma, the supersoul. All attempts made by the living entities to attain renunciation through the cultivation of dry knowledge are useless. Renunciation is an inherent result of bhakti and is easily attained through the practice of bhakti yoga. The bhakti sadhak relishes the direct sweetness of the non-dual object on the strength of his devotion. The process of bhakti is to hear Krishna Katha from the lotus mouth of the spiritual master. Knowledge endowed with a sense of one's relationship with Shri Krishna appears through the process of bhakti by the means of hearing and chanting. The acharyas have ascertained that the mode of service appears by hearing from authorities. The impersonalists do not follow this path of hearing, which is the descending path of Arohavad. Rather, they endeavor to take shelter of the doctrine of the ascending path, Arohavad. Their attempts are compared to trying to reach the sky by climbing on falling raindrops. When the living entity is absorbed in service to the object of bhajan and not in any other object, pure bhakti and proper renunciation, vairagya, will arise. Okay, sorry, we've read all this now. I'm like remembering now, but anyhow, it's good to always go through things more and more. Now we come to the fourth verse. We'll probably end with this, So we come to this is text 15 of Bhajana-rahasya. We come to the fourth verse of the Chatushloki of Srimad Bhagavatam from the second canto, 9th chapter, verse 36. So last verse of the Chatushloki. The four seed verses of Srimad Bhagavatam that encompass entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So that verse states, Etavad eva jigyasyam tattva jigyasunatmana anvaya vyatirekabhyam yat syat sarvatra sarvada. One who is inquisitive to know the true nature of the self, Atma Tattva, inquires through direct, anvay, and indirect, vyatirek, means of deliberation about that object, which is fully eternal. Where's sarvatra? It says that which is sarvatra and sarvada. Sarvatra means everywhere, and sarvada means at all times. I guess fully eternal of all times. So which is eternal and everywhere. Okay. Etavad eva jigyasam. Anyways, that person who is inquisitive about anyways, they God, I sorry, I need to figure I can't figure out the Sanskrit very well, but they one who's inquisitive to know the true nature of the self, Atma Tattva, who is sarvatra all over, is everywhere and all the time, eternally everywhere. They do this, they inquire through means of anvay and vyatirik. So anvay is that which is direct, it's directly connected to Krishna, right? And then vyatirik means it is indirect, it is not connected, it's separate from Krishna. And now, so this is like a philosophical concept here, though, right? There's one inquires through direct and indirect means of deliberation. But now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes it very practical. He says, Anartha nasher jatna duito prakar an anvay mukhete vyatireka mukhe ar anvay mukhete vidhi bhajana vishaye vyatirek mukhete nisheda nanashaye. Okay, so there are two types of efforts for destroying anarthas. Anartha nashir jatna duito prakar. These are the two types of jatna, right? Jatna, would jatna, is efforts the best word for jatna here? Let's see. Jatna. Care, pains, endeavors. Two types of endeavors. Duito prakar. What are they? Anvay mukhete. There's the method of anvay and vyatirek mukhete. Sorry, vyatirek mukhe. There's the method of vyatirek, of direct process and the indirect process. I think that's, let's see, muk. How do you translate muk? First initial, chief, principal? No, it's not that one. Anyways, I think it's like that. There is I don't know. Anyways, I'll have to look at that up. Anyways, right now I'm just going to say method. There's the anvay method and the vyatirek method. So anvay mukhete, through the anvay method, vidhi bhajana vishaye, there are rules regarding the process of bhajan and the topics of bhajan. And by the vyatirek mukhete, by the indirect path means, there's nished, there is prohibitions. And I don't understand what nanashaya means here. Nanashaya. Yeah, I don't understand it actually. I need to figure that word out. So in other words, there are those things which you do which are connected to Bhagavan. Those are the direct processes of bhakti. Those are the favorable things. And there's vyatirek, those which are not related. They're indirect. They are not directly bhakti. They are all the prohibitions, nished. One is vidhi, rules, and the other is nished, prohibitions. We follow the rules and we stay away from the things that are prohibited. So, like we're familiar with the terms anukul and pratikul. That's basically it. Anvay means anukul, that which is favorable, and vyatirek, indirect, that means pratikul, those are which are unfavorable. And then the rest of the verses are now going to go through all the favorable things that we do and the unfavorable things that we avoid. It goes through Upadeshamrita, Manashiksha, and other verses from Srimad Bhagavatam like that. So now we're getting everything's so clear and systematic. It's really brilliant how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur weaves all these verses together. So let's read the Bhajana-rahasya vritti and then we'll end our program for today. So Srila Gurudev says in his Bhajana-rahasya, he says, after Brahma took birth, he asked Sri Bhagavan 4 questions, which the Supreme Lord answered through the Chatushloki. These 4 verses are famous as Chatushloki Bhagavat because they are the seed of Srimad Bhagavatam. They contain the very essence of the Vedas, Vedanta, and all other Vedic scriptures. Philosophical knowledge of Sri Bhagavan, his eternal form, his qualities, pastimes, etc., are all described in the first of these verses in the form of aphorisms, sutras. And the second verse, okay, so the first verse of Chatushloki is Bhagavan, knowledge about Bhagavan. The second verse is about Maya Tattva, which is separate from Bhagavan's eternal form, is discussed, as is the material world, the Jad Jagat. And then, so the Sambandha Gyan found in these 2 verses should be understood. We know what is Bhagavan, we know about Maya and the material worlds and how they're related. That's Sambandha Gyan. Then the third verse describes the existence of Bhagavan's eternal Swarup separate from his relationship of inconceivable difference and non-difference, achinta bheda bhed, with the living entities and matter. You see how they're inconceivably one and different. Everything's inconceivably one and different from Bhagavan. The jivas and Maya are one and different. It also describes how the living entities, taking shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, attain the treasure of the most elevated prem. So it also explains the goal. This is how I'm understanding it. The first 2 verses explain Sambandha Gyan. Then the third verse explains a bit of Sambandha Gyan about Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva and also prem. And now this text 15 is the 4th verse of Chatushloki Bhagavat. And it describes sadhan bhakti, the means for obtaining the above-mentioned supreme goal. Direct following, or anvay, means to accept the rules of sadhan bhakti with a favorable mood. The word vyatirek is used in regard to avoiding those actions that are unfavorable and that cause obstacles in obtaining the desired goal. The path of sadhan is known as abhideya, the process. In other words, that instruction which is obtained from the scriptures through direct interpretation, abhidavritti, is known as abhideya. Interesting. Abhidavritti, that which is obtains through direct interpretation, is abhideya. Abhidha, abhideya. I remember Sundar Gopal Prabhu explaining to me how Jiva Goswami actually, he talks about Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan in a completely different way. And it was Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami who explained it as we know it now. But anyways, I'm going to have to look into this a bit more. But this is very fascinating. How we get the word Abhideya comes from the meaning direct interpretation of the scriptures. That's Abhideya. And there's like Praman and Prameya, and there's Abhidha and Abhideya. I don't 100% understand this right now, but I want to figure it out. This is very fascinating. Okay, this is described in this text. Sadhan bhakti, which is none other than Abhideya, is not dependent on time, place, performer, or circumstance. The duty of all living entities is to perform sadhan bhakti in all places, at all times, and under all circumstances. The sadhak should inquire and hear from the spiritual master about sadhan bhakti. In this text, the confidential meaning of direct and indirect indicates the union, the samyog. Okay, so that's the general meaning. It means those that are favorable for bhakti and those that are not favorable for bhakti. But now there's a deep meaning, the very rasik meaning of this. So the confidential meaning of direct and indirect indicates the union, the samyog, and the separation, the vipralamba, found in Rajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar's amorous pastimes, Shringaras, with his most beloved Raj Sundaris. To deceive the conditioned living entities, all these priceless jewels are kept well protected in a box that the Gyanis and Aishwarya Bhaktas are unable to open. That guru who's adept at relishing the rasa of Raj displays its contents only to his qualified disciples. I think this is where we got to last time. We just did a recap of our last reading just now, I realized. Anyhow, I hope that was helpful. I also like, as you can tell, I'm not understanding everything that we're reading, but now I'm becoming interested in to understand it all. So that's always good. If there's an interest to understand something, then yeah, it'll be more exciting when I actually find out the answers to these questions I have in my mind. So, um, yeah, so tomorrow we will continue on reading about all the anvay and vyatirik things, all the direct favorable things that the rules, and all the indirect, the things that are not related, that are separate from Bhagavan, that we must avoid. So from Upadeshamrita, Manashiksha, and Srimad Bhagavatam and other places. These are right, because the verse before this was saying that we must engage in bhakti yoga and that this jnana and vairagya will automatically come. But then how do we engage in bhakti yoga? Well, we have to anukulyasa sankalpa, pratikulyasa vivarjanam, right? We have to accept the things that are favorable for bhakti and reject the things that are unfavorable for bhakti. And now he's going to go through and explain what are those favorable things that we accept and the unfavorable things that we reject. So yeah, it's very systematic how he explains everything. Um, like these verses fit together really beautifully. Okay, so that's the end of our program for today. Oh yeah. Shri Mataji said we should do a little Mahamantra when we finish the reading because some people go at this point and they won't. Yeah, so yeah, let's do a very short Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Okay. Oh, and I didn't notice all the devotees who joined after. I see, yeah. Ganga Mataji, Krishna Mai Didi, Bilva Mangal Prabhu, and Shama Didi, and everybody else. Yeah, Dandavat Pranams. Okay. And also Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Vidyalala Sididi, and Champak Mataji, and Narihari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji just left. Um, yeah. Sorry if I'm not, if you write a comment, I'll see your name. I'm not trying to ignore anybody consciously. Also, pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Jayadev Prabhu, Shachi Devi, Revati Didi. All right. So those of you who are joining our program that we do, like for this Chaturmasya, we are going through the Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. Today, I'm going to go through it quickly because it's already really late. It's already 8:08. So today, I'm not going to go through the translations. Maybe I'll go through some of them. Let's see. Um, okay, so vineofdevotion.com. And at the very top of the page here, Ashtayam-sādhana. Let's make this big. Oops, that's too big. That's good. Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. Okay. Nam namakari bahuda nijasar. So this is, sorry, this is Prata Kaliya Bhajan, Anartha Nivriti and Sadhu Sangha. The first 6 dandas of the morning, approximately 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. So right now here in India, it's still Pratakal. It is early morning time. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarane nakala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva midrishamiha janinanuraga. Now the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita explaining this second verse of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka. Aneka lokera vancha, aneka prakar. The desires of the innumerable living entities are of infinite varieties. Anek prakar. Kripate korilo anek namer prachar. Therefore, out of compassion, Krishna propagated his countless names. Kaite shuite jata tata nam loy. Kaladesha niyam nahi sarva siddhi hoy. Whether eating, sleeping, or being in any situation, there are no restrictions of time, place, or rules in regard to chanting the name. Yet it bestows all perfection, sarva siddhi hoy. What is sarva siddhi? What is the all perfection? The culmination of all perfection is bhakti. Sarva shakti name dila koriya vibhag. Amar durdaiva name nahi anurag. So the Lord has invested all of his potencies. Sarva Shakti Nam Dila, he's given it all in his names, Name. Koriya Vibhag, having taken all these Shaktis aside and now he's put them all in his names. And then, but Amar Durdaiva, but my misfortune, Name, in these names, Nahi Anurag, I have no Anurag in these names, no attachment. Now the song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana, you are an ocean of mercy. Taraite prani, in order to deliver the living beings. Namaya nekatua shikaoliani. So taraite prani, to deliver these living beings. Nam anektua, your many names, your innumerable names, you have brought them, Ani, you have brought them, and Shikaoli, and you have taught them. Shakala Shakati De Name Tohara. Tohara means your names. Name means in your names. In your names. Shakal Shakati De. You give Shakal Shakati, all your potency, all your Shakti in these names. Grahane Rakhilo Nahi Kala Vichara. And in chanting these names, grahane, in taking these names, rakilo, you have kept nahi, no kala vichar, no considerations of time, place, circumstance. Shri nama chintamani tohari samana. So this this the touchstone, the chintamani, nam chintamani is tohari samana. It is the same as you, it's equal to you. On an equal level of you, it is you. Vishve bilaoli karuna nidan. Vishve bilaoli. You have bilaoli means you have distributed Vishve in this world, throughout this creation. Karuna nidan. You have distributed this nidana, this storehouse of karuna, this of compassion, of mercy. Tua daya aichana paramayudara. So your compassion, aichana, is like this. Parama udara, it is the supreme form of magnanimity. Udara means magnanimity. It is a supreme magnanimity. Atishaya mandanat bhaga hamara. But hamara bhaga, my fate, Atishaya, is extremely manda, is extremely poor, extremely sad, poor, manda. O Nath, O Lord, nahi janamalo name anuragamora. So my anurag, my attachment, name, in these names, nahi janamalo, has not manifested, has not awakened, has not taken birth. Therefore, bhakati vinoda chitta dukhe vibhora. Therefore, the heart of Bhakti Vinod is vibhor, is overwhelmed with dukh, with sorrow. Dukhe vibhor. Now, Bhajana-rahasya, we will go through this. This is like the second to the last verses, and right before the Lila verse, the Lila Smaran verse in Bhajana-rahasya is this verse here. And this is like the segue. It leads into the next chapter. So, a one pointed, actually, let's just read today, because it's late, it's already 8:15. I'm just going to read the Bengali. We'll go over the meaning next time. एकांत भक्तिर मात्र कीर्तन स्मरण अन्य पर्वे रुचि नाही होय प्रवर्तन भावेर सहित होय श्री कृष्ण सेवन स्वरसिकी भाव क्रमे होय उद्दीपन एकांत भक्तिर क्रिया मुद्रा रागोदित तथापि से सब नाहे विधि विपरीत सर्व त्याग करिलेओ छाड़ सुकठिन प्रतिष्ठा त्यागे যত্ন Paibe Praveen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Prabhate Gobir Ratre Madhyahne Sandhyay Anartha Charialo Namer Ashray E Rupe Kirtana Smarana Jay Kore Krishna Kripa Hoy Shigra Anayase Tare Shraddha Kori Sadhu Sange Krishna Nam Loy Anartha Shakala Jai Nishta Upajay प्रातःकाले नित्यालीला करिबे चिंतान चिंतिते 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 भावेर होइबे साधन. By chanting Krishna's name with faith and the association of saints, all anarthas are destroyed and firm determination arises. Those are all the stages, right? Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, and then Nishta. And Nishta is the Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. That's the next section of Bhajana-rahasya. That's the verse. What is it? Trinada Pisunichena. That's Nishta. So, Pratakale, at dawn, one should meditate upon Krishna's eternal pastimes. Nitya lila koribe chintan. Then, chintite, through continual contemplation, this meditation becomes the means of cultivating and establishing one's bhav, one's devotional mood. And now here's the verse from Govinda Lilamrita. Radhang snata vibhushitam vrajapaya hutam sakhi prage tadgehe vihitan pakarachanam krishnavasheshasanam krishnam buddhamavaptadhenu sadanam nirvyudagodohanam susnatam kritabhojanam sahacharais tang chatta tang chashraye. Hopefully the Sanskrit's starting to become clear with this. So Radha, she is Radham, Snata Vibhushitam, Rajapayahutam Sakibi Prage. So Prage means in the morning, at this time from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., Shri Radha, she is bathed, Snata, and Vibhushitam, and she is adorned, dressed and adorned with all the ornaments and everything. And she is Ahutam. She is called, Ahuta means she is called by Vrajapaya, by Vrajapa means Yashoda, who is the queen of Vraj. Sakibi, through the Sakis. This all happens Prage in the morning. And so, Tadgehe, in her house, in the house of Yashoda, Vihitana Pakarachanam, she cooks. She cooks anna, food preparations. Vihita, I think, means arranged. Food, and paka means cooks. Rachana means to make, right? I don't know. Paka rachanam, I think, just means cooks. And then Krishna avashesha ashanam. She eats Krishna's avashesh, Krishna's remnants. So that's what's happening. The first half is what's happening on Radha's side from this 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And now what's happening with Krishna? Krishna Buddham, Krishna awakens from his fake sleep, because we already know that they just went into bed at Nishanta Lila and pretended to sleep. And then Krishna wakes up, and then Avapta Dhenu Sadhanam. And he reaches the Dhenu Sadhanam, the residence, the place where the cows live. And Nirvyuda, he completes Godohanam, milking the cows. And after he finishes milking the cows, then Susnatam, he is su means nicely, snatam, bathed. And then Krita Bhajanam, and he eats, Krita Bhojanam, sorry, that is it, Krita Bhojanam, he eats Sahacharai with his friends. So Ashray, I take shelter of Tang, of her, Cha, and after taking shelter of her, Tang, I take shelter of him. Tang means her, Tang means him. Ashray, I take shelter. Take shelter of her, and thereafter I take shelter of him. But first we always take shelter of Srimati Radhika. Okay. So now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song on this verse. Radha snata vibhushita Shri Yashoda samahuta Saki sange tar grihe gamana Tatha pakavi rachana Shri Krishna vasheshashana Madhye madhye duhara milana. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur adds here that madhye madhye, from time to time, they also meet. Duhar means the divine couple's meeting takes place. Sometimes. Madhya madhya, from time to time. Somehow they sneak in a meeting from this early morning time. Krishna nidra pari hari koshte godohana kori snana shana sahachara shange e lila chinta koro nama preme gara gara prate bhakta jana shange range. So in the early morning, this prate means in the morning, in the company, delighting. Range means delighting in the company of the devotees, bhaktajan, and the shange in the company of the bhaktajan. E lila chintakoro. Remember this lila. And remember this lila, gara gara nam prem, overwhelmed with nam prem, with love for the name, in the company of delight in this way, in the company of devotees in the morning time. Okay. E lila chinta ar koro sankirtana achire paibe tumi bhava udipan. So remember this lila, meditate on this lila, and engage in sankirtan. Then achire, within no time, paibe, you will attain bhav, the awakening of bhav, bhav udipan. Okay, that's our program for today. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Bhajana-rahasya ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, his Bhajana-rahasya ki Jai, Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosai Par ki Jai, his Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Govinda Lilamrita ki Jai, Jai Shri Chaitanya Shikṣāṣṭaka ki Jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagat Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Actually, I should do a little bit of Sankirtan after singing this verse. Eli Lachinta Ar Koro Sankirtan. We have to do a little bit of Sankirtan. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai. Oh wait, we already did Jadvani. So Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vaja Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vanchakalp. Yeah. Jai. Alright, Dandavat Pranams, Champak Mataji, and all devotees who stayed all the way to the end. Thanks for going. Oh my God, we went 25 minutes over. Haribo Vidyalalasa Didi, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, Krishna Maya Didi, Bilba Mangal Prabhu, Shama Didi, and all the devotees watching in the future, Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, Jaidev Prabhu, Manjari Didi, Krishna Rose, everybody else. Haribo. See you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we will start going through all the things that are anvay and vyatirek, that are favorable for bhakti, and all the things that we should reject that are unfavorable for bhakti. All right, Haribo. Jai Shri Radhe.